Yep, did it again. How we going, team? How we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we are here having all sorts of trouble with the YouTube streaming beta system, which at first has made it impossible for us to be on Streamlabs, and now, even with a scheduled stream, doesn't pop up. Not sure what to do with this one, which means you've got to look at this guy without the darkness and the beauty of our lighting system that was set up for your pleasure tonight. But with all that out of the way, what I'd like to do is introduce you to the stream tonight, Thursday night, payday for many, that leads us into the Easter long weekend, which would normally be a time to celebrate for all religions, for everyone except for Castuli in Greek, Jesus in English, Italian, whatever. But this is a holiday that has already started for too many prematurely in the last few weeks. And we need to take our hat off and start this stream with, it feels like a 10-second silence for those that have lost their lives around the world. But has this given us the concept that they're the only people who are dying? They make up such a small smidgen of those who lose their lives every day around the world. They make up less than 1% of 1% of 1%. But for all of the people that have lost their lives and found hardship prematurely, then I'd like to take my hat off and give you a little bit of Ellen DeGeneres hairstyle tribute to those that have lost their lives and those that have fighting to save them. Okay, so if it's touched you, 10 seconds from Kaz now. Mutsukao, the White Warrior, says to all of those who've been touched by this economically, emotionally, whether it be your friends, whether it be your family, I do have condolences for you. Okay, and I know that it's going to take a long time to get past this economically as well. So for those that are in a shitty position, I apologize for that, despite the fact there's nothing I can do to take the slings or arrows for you. That was Jesus' job, and that happened 2020 years ago. Right? No, that's when he was born. Anyway, today we're going to talk about life. It's a 4-letter word, but it's not a swear word. But it is a word that pertains to you and I alike. A lived life, I am lucky to have had one. I already know. So many of you out there. G'day, Jay Hayes from the WA, AK. Lauren is shining and is going to join me any moment for the ladies that are on the stream that are happy to be here today and talk about life with a higher pitched voice. And now Lauren's going to be there for that. Nathan Franklin, for the fallen and the struggling. Nutsukao, compassion. That's what it's about. Thinking about others before ourselves. And Nathan showed you that's exactly what he's doing there. Thank you, mate. We're going to ring Lauren now, and we're going to talk about life. I wanted to share this time with me until the red phone, not the bat phone, goes out of charge tonight. So let's see if the lovely Lauren, who is shining, is able to answer her phone. Mama, oh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow.
Good evening.
Hello, guten Tag.
How are you?
That's German, in case you didn't know.
Oh, no, I knew.
You there?
Mm-hmm.
Lauren.
Sorry, I had some tea in my mouth. I just took a schlop of tea.
Polly put the kettle on.
Yeah, always.
Mate, I thought that I'd introduce you tonight as one of the co-anchors of tonight's stream because we're talking about something which is life. You've lived it. I've lived it.
Yeah.
Both of us have had some hardships in our life, but we're also both here able to try and give a little bit of male-female perspective on life and what is a lived life. And I've done a little bit of preparation tonight for people to be able to put things into order if they were going to, but several subjects to talk about first. For starters, can we hear in the land of Lauren, Tasmania?
Yeah.
You know, what are you going through down there? Is everything all right?
Everything everything's okay. I think the kids are starting to feel a little bit cooped up, especially the teenagers want to be out and about. So that's a bit challenging. So we're just kind of playing a lot of games. We're okay. Like I'm finding it hard to get mints and just some little things like that. But other than that, everyone here is okay. But there is some people up north who are doing it really badly, and some of those that we know are working in the healthcare systems, so they're really hard up against it.
It's a and it can really feel like, is this going to pass over, or right on the witching hour, can you be struck by tragedy? This is not over.
Exactly.
Swollen Wognuts has just said, life, if you spell it backwards, what does it spell? Evil. I didn't know that. So I already learned something tonight. And JC is here, by the way.
Oh, hi, JC. It's a palindrome.
What's a palindrome?
Well, why isn't palindrome spelt the same backwards as it is forwards?
What does it spell?
Well, because palindrome is the name for words that are spelt the same forwards and backwards and spell all kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. English lesson.
There you go. Spanish, the word for palabra is for word. There you go. JC, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're mending well, and I hope it makes you feel a little bit better to know that Gina and Fugly, our moderators, had a little baby. I think it was like 36 hours.
Yeah.
About 36 hours the labour went into, and now we've got a little bloody stream baby called Harley, who was a month preemie, but still came out. What?
Yeah, congratulations.
So damn late. So well done to them. They'll never sleep again.
That's really great. We've been waiting for Harley to come, haven't we? The whole stream has, the whole community, and now he's here.
What's your thoughts on this? And I'd like to see what JC would have thought about this one, actually.
Yeah.
Mr. P was saying, while we're still getting into the start of this stream, national ID cards for life in Australia. We're girt by sea, but what we definitely see is kids that are off the reservation, truanting. That used to be something that police could go up to a kid in the street and say, "Hey, short one, what are you doing? Why aren't you at school? Give me some ID. See you later," and off they'd go. If it became a finable offence, or it became, and not just for revenue, but for the welfare of children, or for I want to know exactly who I'm talking to, and not from a big brother point of view, I think it'd be a fantastic way.
Well, I think they do police it, but what I think the system is a little bit different than what it used to be when you and I were kids. Like, well, you and I were kids. No one got angry if a cop gave a kid a clip round the ear.
Yeah, we had Cardinal Pell to look after us.
And well, but that's the problem, you see. That's the problem with cops going off the reservation themselves. But with what were we talking about? Now you've thrown me off with
the national ID card.
Oh, yeah. Well, because, I think also with the truancy and that we do police it also, but it's the parents who I believe get looked into or something. But then I'm sure it reaches a certain age where everyone's a bit powerless. So I think I remember my dad thinking that Medicare card was like a national ID card anyway. So we've kind of already got plenty of national ID cards.
But there should be one that has a photo on it, that has the Guardian's phone number on it, and I believe it should start from 10 years old. As soon as you hit double figures, there is one there.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
Hey, Haley. Haley's with us too.
Oh, hi, Haley.
See, Lauren brings all the ladies to the stream. to the stream.
Yeah, I don't think it's wholly a bad idea, because I think that it might also help us catch some kids who are slipping through the cracks.
And you know what? It also gives children and young adults, before they get the driver's license, a chance to feel like they're a little bit more important.
Exactly.
When there is absolutely nothing that represents you, I think this would be a good thing. And it should be a cool-looking card.
It should be.
Yeah.
That's what always gets me about Australia, right? We have some of the most creative minds here, but like our Olympic uniforms are always crap. Our cards always look a bit shit.
This is why we're scared of changing the Australian flag that was designed by Australia voting for the design. If they were to do it now, imagine what sort of weirdness it'd look like. It'd have every bloody minority group attached to it. It'd look like a patchwork bloody quilt.
Yeah, and I think that's just silly because those people are all individuals under that flag. There's no need to change it.
That's right. It's a fine flag.
Yeah.
And we've seen the first world leader that actually spoke in a way that everyone went, oh, wow, that was sort of sobering, was the Queen.
True.
When the Queen spoke, everyone went, well, for someone who's been in service for 68 years, who gave her first national address in 1940 and is still classed as employed 68 years later, that's amazing.
Exactly, and she sounded sharp as a tack. Sharp. What she said was she wasn't promising anyone fairy tales. She said this is going to be difficult, but we're going to have to draw on our spirit and, collective spirit, and we're going to have to find our way through this.
Nathan reckons he's wearing the same shirt as me. There's a doppelganger.
Uh-oh.
You know what a doppelganger is? Doppelganger is someone that is trying to be you, take over your life. We should ring him. We should ring him. I did some research tonight that was about life, Lauren, and I'm going to turn this into a video for you. I've been making alternate 7 to 8 second introductions for videos, and I'll put out a video soon on just different introductions, and I won't put the In the Trenches with Kaz heading on it, or I'll put one with the what do you call it, the heading with it. But then what I'll do is I'll have one without it. So anyone that makes their own movies, if you want to use those sound effects with those videos, feel free to doppelgang them, so to speak. But I was looking and thinking about the meaning of life today. And we've got people, a spectrum of ages in the comments over here, and attributes and personalities, genders, thought processes, etc. But the one thing that we all are is on a limited course, and we only have one life. There is no sequel, and you don't want to get with the picture too late or make a mistake that prevents you from having a lived life at all. So, Lauren, I want to pitch this one to you. It'd be very interesting to see what your priorities would be on this.
Okay.
So for everyone listening, don't worry about writing notes. I'm going to actually give this one to you so you can look at this and actually either give it to your children and tell them to put things into perspective as well. But this is what I thought. Questions. The meaning of life. What do you want from life? This is the Socratic method, which means you have to ask yourself this. I'm not going to give you the answer. It has to come from you. And your thought processes will change over the years with maturity. As doors open and doors close, they'll become either impossible or enhanced. Yep. These are the things, these things will change. Yep, I've stated that. So here's 10 things. It's not in accordance with the 10 commandments because tomorrow's Easter, etc. Or the fact that the opposite of that, the inversion of that is we've got 66 people viewing, which is 2/3 of the devil, which would turn that opposite becomes life. So here's the 10 things, Lauren, that I believe are important in life, which are the ingredients to the cake that becomes life. And it just comes down to what order would you put these things in? And the 10 things go as follows.
All right.
Adventure is important. You need adventure in life because it's where your stories and lessons come from. Fails and tragedy, and as well as victory. Love.
Yeah, true.
You've got to have love in your life. You have to.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Whether it's the love of an animal, whether it's the love of a partner, whether it's the love of a cabin boy.
Hopefully it's love in lots of different aspects because we all play lots of different roles. So, hopefully it's love and adventures in all those roles.
There is spectrums of love, but there is also obscenities to that, and we've seen what outside industry thinks about that. And that's another story. Friends. We're a herd animal. You're not meant to get through this alone. You're meant to have people to be able to bounce ideas off. Maybe you got brought up with parents that weren't the best and you don't know and you can only trust yourself. Well, I tell you what, there'd be nothing more sobering than meeting someone that is a giver that will actually compensate you, meet you 50% of the way and take some of the load off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
True education, Lauren.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cut you off, love. I think it comes from travel.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But I mean, you can get a watered down version of it via someone who has travelled also,
Yes.
because, I've never left Australia, but yet I've had plenty of adventures. So it's like adventuring doesn't have to mean, going off backpacking or something like that.
Us Leyland brothers.
Yeah, a lot of people have a limited idea of what adventure is.
Yep.
We need to start, being a bit creative about our adventures.
Well, that's true too. And we don't know whether this travel industry is ever going to come back as we get more tribal or whatever. When the franchises change, when the businesses aren't as competitive anymore, some of the competitors have fallen away, the prices go up for airfares, accommodation, or trying to then rip you off to make up the losses, etc. It might not come back around. But if you want to know about a pizza and you actually land in Italy, the first thing you want to do is see the Colosseum, followed not behind by seeing a pizza or a bruschetta, where I had my first ever bruschetta. So travel when you can smell it, taste it, see it, hear it. Knowledge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, that are absolutely in love with the pursuit of knowledge, and that can go your entire life, no matter how infirmed you become. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. That's an adventure.
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Brady Carr's throwing love and kisses out there everywhere.
Yeah, because he's so great, all the ladies love him.
Oh, do they? Shit. Noah Foster's got to go. Got a Zoom meeting for cadets.
I know it.
What's a Zoom meeting?
It's like a Brady Bunch chat,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe I should make a video of that sort of stuff.
That'd be heaps fun.
If you don't have knowledge, you don't have travel, you don't have friends, you don't have love, and you don't have adventure, one of the other things important that gives you a fantastic life is stories. Not just ears that listen to them, but the ability to open your mouth and confidently stand up and say, I've got a story. Yeah. When anyone says that, everyone sort of goes, oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it does depend on who's telling it to you because, tall tales and true get a little bit tiresome after a while, but I love hearing people's life stories, like little interesting things that they've done and strange people they've met and places they've gone. Like I spoke to someone once who described to me what it was like to stand in the church where the Ark of the Covenant apparently is, and stories like that, they just take me away.
Well, I'm actually funny you say that because I've actually stood in the Holy Sepulchre in Israel itself and actually touched the supposable rock where you've got to reach down with your hand and touch where the cross of Christ was. And I found it a very misogynistic place, actually. I don't use that word very often, And
must have been bad.
Here's a bit of fake news. I told one of my mates who's a little bit further to the right than what I am. I said, I found out the other day, did you know what a group of male lions is called? He goes, what? I said, it's called the misogyny. And he went, that's amazing. I love it. I'm going to use it. It's not true, team. So, but he won't be watching at the moment, so he doesn't know that he's going around telling people fake news.
Oh, that's funny.
Victoria V says, hey, all husband at Kapooka isolation at home by myself. Nice to read some humans. Victoria, I've always loved that name. I had a crush on a girl named Victoria. Your husband's at Kapooka. Wait 2 seconds. I'm coming to say good day.
That's great.
I'm back.
And there's Chanel. Hi, Chanel. We haven't seen Chanel for a little while.
We haven't, but we could smell her. Chanel number 5.
Which I happen to like, I don't know. Not everyone likes it.
It's 100 years old.
Well, style never goes out of fashion.
It was the ladies. There's a book about it for powerful women. My daughter was reading.
Coco now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, she's a really good role model. She was a powerful woman in business. She did really good, made beautiful feminine things. So lovely.
Yep. Number 7, possessions. We want possessions in life. But if I was to open that up to you and say, what possessions? What do you want? Do you want a house? Do you need a house? Is a house to you a camper van? I want a camper van. I don't necessarily need to live in a house, and it doesn't make me a Griswold or a bum that I want to be in something where I wake up with the sound of the world around me. Wake up in a different place all the time and a handbrake keeping me safe.
Yeah, exactly. But you know me, I'm a bit of a gypsy. I could be quite happy like that too. But then again, wherever you land, you know, as long as you've got what you need, you can make it into a home. You need very little.
You do. And you've got to say to yourself sometimes, if there was a fire right now, what are the things I'd take with me? And some of the only things I'd take is my grandfather's pocket watch.
Yeah.
I'd take my uncle's ring because he got killed too. Both of those guys died before me. I wouldn't take my broken Fitbit. I'd take the bat phone. I'd take my medals, and I'd probably take Derek and wear the helmet on the way out as well.
You'd have to bring Derek. You couldn't just leave him there.
Yeah. Well, what about number 8?
Okay.
Number 8 is respect.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got to have respect. And what that is about is telling the truth where it matters, by backing people up, by sacrifice, by going and helping people when they need it, but not being a sucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
for sure. And because it goes both ways. You know, it's often I see like this happens to men and women where they're really respecting, say, their partner an awful lot, but the other person doesn't display respect back or just doesn't feel it. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure that can work. I think you have to respect each other and respect everybody.
And yourself. When you see someone turn up as a parent to a primary school and they turn up with an obscene T-shirt on, their hair looking like shit and no shoes on, I feel like going over and going, what sort of goddamn dad are you? There is no reason to turn up with no shoes on at a school. One guy 2 years ago took his shirt off.
Oh, no, that's inappropriate.
And you go, you're a dickhead, mate. I had to go over and say, what are you doing? Put your shirt on, clown. You know?
Exactly. Where does he think he is?
It's Penrith. We've got a lovely lady here named Olivia Marie.
Yes.
Not Tarantula, Tarantola. Is that a Kiwi?
It's a great name, though.
It's a beautiful name.
Sounds like a Hollywood name.
It's a pretty name. If it was a man, it'd be a porn name. But I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect your name. We just said it's about respect. But Olivia, I think, is a fantastic name. I wanted to call my daughter that, but there was other Olivias in the family. So, no. But that's a very pretty name.
Yeah.
Second last one. What do you think about this, Olivia? One of the important things, and she has said respect and loyalty, I totally agree, is fun. You've got to have fun. We're one of the first generations to be able to have that luxury, to be allowed to have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. And you know, fun, sometimes we get caught up in it, and I do too, where you think fun equals money, like you have to have money to have fun.
No.
Because I think we forget to play. We forget how to play and how to actually have fun. So I think everybody should use their isolation time to maybe try and be a bit more playful, but like they used to when they were a kid, no limits.
Yeah, and you see it just disappear sometimes from people, but also sometimes it gets taken. In Manly, if you jump off the wharf, it's a $2,000 fine for jumping off the wharf into the water. You're going, no one has the right to say that. If you break your neck, oh, well, you become a YouTube clip.
Yeah.
You know, no worries.
Yeah, well, we used to enjoy jumping off jetties and things like that all the time.
That's where your gymnasts come from.
Yeah, that's, you know, when we were kids, we did a lot more stuff that we would never let our kids do, which is it amazes me. Even my own children pull me up on it. They're like, you used to ride your bike and come back when it was dusk, when the street lights came on.
It's true.
Know, but we can't let them do that. Maybe it's because we have knowledge now of all the creepers out there, you know, and all the hazards. So with knowledge comes responsibility as well. So it kind of, you can't take any one of those things. Like you might have fun, but you might be really not very clever and you're going to hurt yourself. Or you kind of have to have a balance of all those things, I think, to have a really good life.
That's true. But I think one of the sad things is I don't think there is many creepers out there at all. I think we're made to believe that. I think most of your creepers are in your families. The people that betray you are normally the people that know you.
Yeah, exactly. They're not dirty old men down the street. They can be, but they might be dirty old women down the street too. But they're more likely to be someone, you know, in your close immediate contact, which is really sad. But
that you trust and then betray. The trust and betray. Which takes us on to the last one, which is family.
Yep.
You got to have family, and that means that sometimes you've got to give back. Sometimes that means you've got to forgive.
Yep. Exactly. And you've got to be accountable to people. They're accountable to you.
Children, a life without children. It's funny. When you've got a child, you'll tell everyone, it's so good being a mum, it's so good being a dad. But when you're by yourself, you go, it sucks.
Well, it's hard work, because it's always putting yourself, you just want to sit down and have a cup of tea. But when they're little, you can't. It's not for the full cuppa. If you have, something's wrong. They're into something they shouldn't be.
We're talking about honesty, so you can say, geez, it sucks being a parent sometimes. There's lovely Olivia saying that she goes out with a 13-year-old daughter and they just laugh and explore the world, and it's memory so much more than anything.
Exactly.
That's a great way to do it.
Exactly. You're really rich if you can make really good memories for your children. And I do it now for my granddaughters. I do things purposely to be good memories.
Yep. My daughter, I can't get a hug off her, but whenever we sit down and watch The Conjuring, she'll come and sit on my lap.
Don't watch movies like that with her. She gets scared.
There's always a little bit of a twist in what I'm saying too, team.
Yeah.
These 10 things that I'm telling you that has adventure, love, friends, travel, knowledge, stories, possessions, respect, fun, and family, guess what? Every single one of them is ticked off by joining the army. Every single one of them. There is so many people out there with the houses, with the cars, but they're compensating with these expensive suits, and then they don't know what to wear to a goddamn wedding because they dress in the same shit every day. With cufflinks. When you're in the army, it's about your stories. It's about the scars on your face. It's about the people you turn up in their world when they least expect the Christian to come to a Muslim world and save them from the woes of their own. It's from traveling. It's being on a boat. It's from being too scared to fly, but being in a helicopter with the windows open, hanging out. The only thing holding you in is centrifugal force, and then coming home and having a nightmare 20 years later that you're going to go to sleep while you're in the side of the chopper. Your rifle falls out and you turn around and all you want to say is, it's not my fault. But it is. Our life is so awesome, the adventure. It happens one bit at a time. Stop trying to be in the fast lane too early.
Exactly.
You'd have seen it, Lauren. 20-year-old guy, already no more room for a new tattoo. You're going, you haven't even lived yet. What are you going to do if something awesome happens?
Yeah, every week we see that. Every week, we'd see someone. We used to say no to a lot of tattoos. I say no to a lot now, but we used to say no to them because I don't ever want to make something that I think someone's going to end up regretting. So I'd rather him just wait and take solid advice, and because they're so young and they don't realize it because you've been waiting to get to this age. Yeah. But I mean, I've tattooed, fathers who have come in devastated after their boys just got their car and did some drag racing and ended up wrapped around a tree, So, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why to just slow down.
There is. And you have only so much energy. The candle starts to burn down after a while. Fugly, what are you doing on here? You should be getting your energy, getting ready to make milks, you new father, you. I remember that when you first have a child and you're going, I'll do the milk. I don't mind. And then within a week, I can't stand the smell of that shit. Haley Bates, it's amazing how the small things make the great memories. Absolutely.
Yeah, they do, for sure.
To me, it's the steel cups that you used to drink the green and red cordial out of when you're on holidays with your cousins beside the river. Get outside, come back when it's dark.
Yep.
Archie.
I remember that with some coddies.
Yep, coddies.
Yeah, my dad picks the fruit.
It goes to coddies. The mate's the cordial that I like best.
Yeah.
No one says love it best.
I do.
I'll tell you what about love.
I'm famous for misheard lyrics. Don't worry, I just make it up.
That's all right. That's all right. Hey, Carl, how you going, bro? Coffee tomorrow? Yes, please. Let's do a driveway coffee. But I'm telling you now, the police that I know have been told that they are to target people harshly over the next few days. So please, Australia feels like they've dodged a bullet at the moment. I get that. But the rest of the world hasn't. And if we're going to talk a little bit of tin hat stuff here, I tell you now, I've already spoken to Lauren about it. I don't know what's going on. the numbers, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We're not getting told the whole truth here, but who knows? We're going to know maybe one day. Oh, there we go. Olivia was born in Italy. You were right. Served there while living in Sydney, Australia, and served my country, and I take pride, full experience. Fantastic, and thank you for that service, my dear. So you'd agree with us. You've got a little one now. I've always had a little one, but get your mind out of the gutter. Sorry, I'm back. Just found my deployment videos. They're not bad to look at. Who was I speaking to? There was a gentleman tonight. There he is. I watched a video today for all those guys who want to go to special forces, etc. It was a very, very sobering video. You can find it like a Zyrtec really quickly on YouTube by looking up a gentleman called Ant Middleton. I'd never heard of him before. He is a British Special Forces guy that has taken down more people than Corona. And I'm talking about Mexican beers. We're not talking about at the moment. And he was there with a very left-leaning audience, very left-leaning commentators in a talkback show. And it was crazy to watch the look on their face with this guy that didn't hold anything back. He didn't say he was sorry. He has no regrets. And he was talking about his life. And basically, he didn't mention the exact numbers, but when he was in the Special Force in Afghanistan for 3 tours, that he basically can't count the amount of people that were too slow on the trigger to defeat him when he was the first man at the front of a stack as he broke through their door and said, not anymore. And when he put them down, and when they were asking him how'd that feel, no problems. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And they're like, oh, how do you answer that? But they were fathers. No. Yeah. Don't get them mixed up. The war against terror is opposite to meeting with a conventional force who are fathers that are there for a political whim.
Yeah.
When someone is there and they're a war on terror, these people use cruelty, savagery, and evilness. They are not religious. They are warlords, and they are
exactly.
There is evil, and I'm not going to talk about what they do to keep other villages in line. And you don't really need to know about that. But be glad there's tough men doing their job.
Exactly. And they are, and that's anarchy. Like everybody who out there who wants to be an anarchist, that's your best look of anarchy is warlords like that.
And where's all these tough anarchists at the moment? Where's all the ones that wore into
dog you?
they wore masks for a uniform.
Yeah.
Against fascism, and now when Corona's here, no, I'm not going to protest. It's dangerous. I've seen people recently taking their mask off to have a cigarette because they're scared of Corona. You're going, you boggle me mind. It boggles me. Lightfoot, how you going, mate? What's the other foot? Is that one heavier? That's a dad joke. I'm sorry, mate. Haley, I just want to day while you have Lauren there that you guys helped me out of that really. Lauren there helped me out really dark times a couple of months ago. I got accepted into university yesterday.
Yay!
So some awesome times ahead. Education. That's sorry, Haley. That's rule number 5. Knowledge. Well done, my dear.
Exactly.
We've got Bruce M. We've said something right for Bruce. Thank you very much for the donation there for the channel. And North Shoot Cow, sir. Is it Bruce or Bruce? If you remember. Do you remember the movie?
Yeah.
One of the very first movies that came out on video was called They Call Me Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Not a question that goes with it. I wish I could talk with all of you guys and gals about life. What does it mean to you? Because so many people make mistakes so early that deny them the opportunity to have what we would call a lived life. And what is a lived life? It's not about money. It's not about your house. It's not about your boat.
Yep.
Yeah. You're going to have people at your funeral or not, because a lot of people won't.
Yeah. No, that's true. A lot won't. But, that's your stories, isn't it? And there's most of my stories, a lot of them have come from what I thought were massive failures at the time that I thought I'd never recover from. But where I am now, it's, we can find humor in almost everything.
Look, that's true. And I see every mistake I've ever made. and whether I've been caught for it or whether I haven't, as a bullet dodged, because it taught me not to do that again. The worst thing that can happen is if you continually get away with something, that you will slide down that slope, or in life you are going to be, wait 2 seconds, Kane, what's your cow? Thank you, my friend. I hope Mackay is doing well, and thank you for the dancing cool emoji there. Cheers. You're going to get in your life, especially when you join the military.